So I wanted to move now into a little bit of the accounting integration. So open up, what kind of accounting software do you guys use? It looks like we get a lot of QuickBooks, a lot of Viewpoint. That's great to hear. Very good softwares, and continuing to move on. So here's an example of our job cost workflow here. We can actually use eSUB. We're going to create any change orders and purchase orders in eSUB, send them into Sage, and now we're getting that job costing out. In the meantime, we actually create an estimate in our estimating software and send it into eSUB. And we can actually support if you put it, if you create it in your estimating software, send it directly to eSUB, or if you want to put it into your Sage software or Viewpoint or Key to Act into there first, and then we can import it via our connector or a flat file. And then at the end of the day, now we've finished the project, we've got all the job cost information in eSUB. Now our estimators can look into eSUB, see that historical information, and bid the next one better so that they're winning jobs and having the best budget at the end of the project. So we'll be able to hone in our estimating skills. So the eSUB accounting integration, what do we do for integration? Here's an example of Sage 300. And basically we're going to be using foundational data, budgetary data, and transactional data. And I'll get into the definitions of each of these in the next slides. But foundational data is basically pulling over the stuff that you need to build projects. The very basic information that kind of are the building blocks of everything else. So we're able to pull those straight from your accounting software into eSUB. So now you've got all the information there without having to do all that duplicate entry. Next, we've got budgetary data, and that's your estimates and cost to completes, which now pull over information that allow us in real time to see where our budgets are going. And the reason we do it this flow is that the operations team needs to see where they're at from a budgetary standpoint, but we don't want to edit that information for a Sage for the accounting software, because that information lives and breathes in for accounting. Lastly, we've got transactional data flowing from eSUB into Sage, and that is because we've got information that needs to go, that starts from the operations team. So for a change order or a purchase order, those are originating with the operations team and the project manager, and then getting sent into accounting softwares so that we can keep everything aligned. So the foundational data, what do I mean by foundational data? The first bit is projects. So we see your complete project list in eSUB, and to create the link between eSUB and your accounting software, all you have to do is select that project from a drop down. So once we click that drop down, now all the other information flows in. So then we are able to see the cost codes and any kind of assignments. So as soon as you link those projects, you're going to pull in all of the cost codes that you've got for your company, and then assign specific codes to your projects based on what you've got set up in your accounting software. So you see the display and hide icons will show up based on those assignments, and now you've got only the codes that you want on your project to go there. You don't have to do duplicate setup for the same project. And lastly, we've got those vendors coming across, and this will allow us to do purchase orders and have the right information in our eSUB account so that we can be in sync with Sage. No more duplicate entry there. The next piece we're bringing in is that budgetary data. This is our estimates. So like I said before, you can either import your estimate via CSV from your estimating software, or we can pull it in from one of those premium accounting softwares directly in there. So your estimate will now populate with all those cost codes that we've now enabled, and you'll be able to see those full budgets. And then in real time, we're actually able to have a window into our accounting software for cost to complete. So we can see those original estimates, any change orders, and then actual costs that we've spent on the project. And this provides a lot of value because now you don't have to wait a week or two for your accounting team to send back a report and spend all that time. We're actually able to view that directly in eSUB in real time and see those costs as they hit your budgets in the accounting software. So it gives a window for a project manager to see that. I know for myself, I was always waiting on those reports to see where I was at, and if an error happened, because there's lots of manual entry, it's easy to make errors. I wouldn't know it until 2 weeks from then, and if I wanted to get it changed, now it was a month before we got everything all aligned. So with this sort of window into your accounting software, I would have been able to know those issues when they happened and get them resolved very quickly and know where we're going to be at. And then as a project manager, it's important to do these additional projections so that now at the end of the project, I know if I'm going to make budget or not, and I don't end up $10 million over at the end of the project, God willing. So that this tool now gives us a window and allows us to project out to build our projects on budget and on time. The last piece I want to talk about here is transactional data. And the example I want to use is change orders, although we also do it for purchase orders, flowing from eSUB into the accounting software. So when you write a change order as a project manager, you're actually creating that budget in advance, and then also the value that you get paid by your general contractor. So here we set up our labor budget that we want to spend on that we need additional funds for to actually do the change order. We put that in, we create the change order, and then once it becomes approved, we're going to put in an approved amount, mark this as approved, and that will flow directly into our accounting software, update our budgets with whatever we need additional for that, as well as a change order amount, whatever is paid by the general contractor, so that we now can update our contract value.